Welcome to Let's Play Gundam Side Story 0079 Rise from the Ashes. Yes, that is the sound the Dreamcast makes.
Wait, that's quite a title.
Oh god, I've been assaulted by Gundam's 20th anniversary. Holy
That's
shit.
pretty much it, yeah.
The coin just hit me in the face.
Universal Century, your
This narrator.
This narrator is great.
The space colonies of Side 3, declaring themselves the Duchy of Zeon, launched a war of independence against the Federated Union of Earth.
The Zeon are the bad guys, spoilers.
At the same time, the Zeon forces undertook Operation British, an attempt to drop a space colony
They were
onto
recolonizing the
Target
Earth in the name of the
Jamrao
British.
Base, headquarters of Earth's federal forces in South America.
Why is that Operation British? Like, no part of that operation includes the United Kingdom.
You don't typically name a military operation after something recognizable. Like, if it was Operation Colony Drop, the Feddies might have gone, But Operation British could have just been a supply
Maybe that's a
convoy,
thing.
or taking over another side, or...
Didn't have the
At the
raw
absolute
materials needed to
least,
fight an extended war. With the failure
It
of
should
Operation
have been
British, a war
something
was now
like
inevitable.
Operation
Well, I mean, there's not much difference
Thunder
between, like,
Smash or
Operation
something
British
like
and the
that.
British
We
landing
all
in
run the
Foggy Bay,
same.
Sydney anyway, for
They
Australia.
seized 2/3 of the Earth's surface.
That's one of the things that they train for
fuck
in,
Gauss.
Even Australia,
in
which
Fuck
bore the worst scar of
Gauss.
the
Training
Operation
camp,
British
Hate the Gauss
disaster,
so
fell
much.
under Zeon attack for its natural resources. The Federal Forces Division in Australia,
dudes are
already
surfing
badly battered by the
in
disaster,
giant robots.
could do
I'm
nothing
already
to repel
enjoying
them.
this game.
Yeah, if anyone ever wonders why I don't like
It's been
Zeon so
11
much,
months
they
since
dropped
the war
a
began.
fucking space
Earth's
station
federal
on my
forces
house.
in Europe, Operation Odessa, has been a total success.
In the name of Space-noid peace
seems
and
like-
fucking
Across
independence,
the surface,
they
the
gassed a
British
space
Allies
colony
have
and
heavily
dropped it on my house.
and across the globe, one
By accident.
has been successfully launched, and in Australia, which took
Seems
the
like a
Well, if it
rather
helps,
personal
Odessa's
and
already
reasonable
over.
gripe to
We
me.
won.
against the Zeon forces has just begun to unfold as well.
Cool, great, wonderful, let's play. Look
Well,
forward to the
this
next
is what
one,
happens
dude.
when you're not Amuro Ray in a Gundam game. It's already
Yeah,
over.
you can't
just
even
wanna-
read The Rise from the Ashes. It's...
Yeah, that's white on
this
orange,
music,
man.
I love this
like,
music.
See, look at that big fucking hole. My house is sort of
Right
like
there.
middle-ish, like on the outer part of it.
It kind of looks like something like frickin' McGruff the crime dog took a bite out of crime, only instead of crime.
Well, it's
it was
interesting to know that
Australia.
because, like, the middle part down the bottom is called the Great Australian Bight, so you might call that the Great Geon.
Before we get
Bight.
into this, I needed to show off the Dreamcast controller so you can see the problem. Move is attached to the D-pad, and it says angle, but that's your aiming, is attached to this thumbstick. There is
I
a
was gonna
lock
say,
on. But
this totally reminds me of like the original Doom. Like everybody remembers playing like Doom 1 with a keyboard and mouse or whatever. Everybody forgets there was a time before you could use the damn mouse. So to look up, by default it was insert and end.
well, you'll
on your
notice
frickin'
no matter
keyboard.
what type I'm going to, you can't actually change the trigger button to be attack. The trigger button is always guard, and the other trigger is always your jump jets.
I can't imagine why this game moves so well.
The only thing that you can cycle is which one of
why?
the four
You
color
don't get to
buttons
be a
is your
Gundam?
attack button.
It's set in Australia, and the controls are complete garbage, and it's on the
Yep.
Oh my lord! It's like everything you could possibly do to make a Gundam game.
And it came out
fail,
when
they
Gundam
did.
Wing was a thing.
Oh, good. What does the game levels
It
do?
makes
Pop
the
Tarts?
enemies
I'm really
tougher.
eager to
It
hear
does not
this.
make their AI better. It just makes it turns the Zaku from being about as tough as the GM to being about twice as tough as the GM. So I'm not doing that.
Fantastic! I really appreciate
It is a way to make
Throw
the
in difficulty.
it is a way
sliders
to
that
make the
do
new
not
game
actually
plus
change
option more
difficulty.
challenging though, because in the new game plus it unlocks the beam spray gun and the beam rifle, which I will be using.
Yeah, you can't see it, but I'm. You can't see it. I'm making
Oh
you
no,
guys rank
considering
emotions
the base
super hard.
weapons that you have to play through the first time with are a bazooka that does about 5 damage, and a machine gun that does even less, the beam spray gun and the beam rifle are pretty fantastic. So
City of
we're attacking
Adelaide.
Alice Springs.
Yeah, Adelaide's a city. Ben Folds Road is
That was what it was prompting. For those of you who aren't familiar, the song is
This
entitled-
whole game is a
called,
music
no, I think
reference.
it's just called Adelaide, but he sings about how nothing happens.
This whole game is an excuse to make a
lyrics say the
stairway to
world could end
heaven.
and no one would even notice. Okay, so Alice Springs in the correct location. They've started out strong. Alice Springs is actually where Alice Springs is.
Right there.
Also, Ayers Rock is now called Uluru, because that's the actual name that the indigenous population give it. So we're nice and changed the name.
Fair enough.
However, their advance mustn't be slowed either.
I
That's why we're going
don't
to
know what
insert
they'd be
new
going
white
for
dingoes into
specifically
the Rainbow Valley
there.
area.
I think Alice Springs has uranium,
Essential if we're
but
going
I
to
thought that was
stand
actually much
fighting
further north around
chance
Kakadu,
against fearless marauders.
which is close.
We're actually here to take out the enemy anti-air emplacements. So they've just filled Alice Springs with AA guns just to piss the fetties
Yeah,
off.
that's really weird. I can't see why anyone would actually fly in that. Why anyone would fly over the middle of Australia if they could help it? Like, there's no population census there or anything. And then again, there's probably not too many on the East Coast after they colony dropped it.
This whole game also is basically Legends of the Hidden Temple in Gundam form. Like, all of the Fetty formations are like Blue Swan and White Dingo, we're the White Dingoes, and Red Possum and Green Echidna and like something Quokka. There's not a
Please tell
silver
me there's a
monkey, but
silver
there is like
monkey
a pink
somewhere.
Quokka or something like that, or yellow Quokka.
Lieutenant Rare, the
Swear
mobile
to God, I
suit
come
you're in
onto
is
your
designated Fang 1.
Let's Plays just to have
Leon's unit is
greatness
Fang
taken
2.
away from
And
these
I also
games
like,
last
even though
night.
these cutscenes are sort of crappy, they actually animated the mouth flaps,
Please remember that.
which is
Fang 2, Leon.
surprising for a game of this era.
Fang 3, Mike here, Roger.
They did their best.
Fang 3, I have a problem with
Oh.
my deck. Please advise.
Hey, wait, what's
Fang
that supposed
3,
to mean?
Mike is our resident
Hey, just
dumbass,
kidding.
basically.
It's a very appropriate
They
name.
try to humanize him at the end, and it really just doesn't work, because it makes him seem like a
Right at
complete
the end.
coward.
Better
He just
watch your
goes,
back
wow,
on that
war
one."
really is hell.
Basically.
I'm so scared. Would you guys
So,
please knock it off
Leon,
all
the
that
guy
chatter?
with the black hair, is
Can't you say
Fang
something to
2.
them?
He's our backup. He's the better of the two, AI-wise. Fang 3 I will tend to make follow me around, just because he's less likely to steal kills. This is our mechanic. We saw Anita briefly. She drives our radar truck, which we don't have radar if she's not actively like ground sonaring, like in 8th Mobile Suit Team.
She said her call sign
Yup,
was
because
Oasis.
she's a beautiful flower in the desert, according to Mike.
Look at that
'cause
power meter.
Fuck Mike. Yeah, this is our default weapon. It is.
The main appeal of this thing is the blast effect.
You
It
know,
says-
the rocket launcher, the power is just like...
Effect
get ready
bomb
for it.
is
It's so
basically
cool.
AoE. It does do AoE damage, which is basically only there to fuck you over.
This is the bait.
I really
beam
appreciate
notice
that the effect on,
The beam spray
just a lot of
is the
people
same
know
power
about
as the rocket launcher. This is one of the new Game Plus weapons. It only unlocks after you beat the game once. That's a lie. The power on that is a lie. The beam rifle's power is not.
Designed for Gundam class mobile suits. Its firepower and range make it
Yeah.
Just
We'll be
not.
using that, but I save it for later. And I won't go over the P-beam rifle until we actually unlock it, or the mission where we would. There's two types of shields in the game, too. There's a small shield and a large shield. There's also a medium shield, but we won't worry about that until the last mission. The small shield gets you a melee attack if you are guarding while you jump jet into someone. It just sort of knocks them on their ass. Otherwise, if you're not guarding, you just bonk into each other and you both fall over.
Thicker armor at many points than most GMs, but be aware that that'll cost you some mobility. Better carefully
Both
consider
fall
what kind
over.
of
It's like,
mission
this
you
was a
got.
terrible idea.
Yeah,
Why
the
did you do
GM
it?
cannon's got the shoulder cannon. the normal GM doesn't have the shoulder cannon, but has a hand grenade instead. I tend to not give my friends the normal RGM 79 because they will throw grenades and hit me with them a lot. They are not...
Team AI quotation
Yeah, they will
marks.
shoot you in the back more often than the enemy shoots you in the front.
Well, I see. So the AI was modeled off of
I usually make them stay in guard Oasis.
It has a cannon gun mounted on its right shoulder.
It really amazes me how difficult it is for people to apparently make AIs that don't do that very basic thing. Like, I can rattle off a half dozen, specifically mech combat games that perfected that problem in 1989. And we've been
We're
struggling
taking the
with it ever
disappointment
since.
gun and the useless small shield.
It's not as durable and doesn't give as much overall coverage as a large
Just
shield.
getting the agony out of the way on the
That is-
easiest stage.
That is forever its name now, by the way, the disappointment
You'll
gun.
see. It is truly disappointing.
All right, now that you've finished equipping your suit, you're all ready to get out there and face your next sword.
First, answer your bail.
See you, Lieutenant Reyes.
Not this first time around, but later on, yeah, there will be mail every time. And once you're in game, you cannot
like
change your
the
control
idea
scheme.
Oh, good.
Don't like it.
And you might think,
bad.
how do we launch? Because this is where I get to... Oh, right. How do we launch? It's the exit button.
Sure, that makes sense. I have no idea why anybody would have thought that was confusing. Except for the fact that that doesn't mean launch
This
or
is
go
me
to
struggling.
mission.
Do I
That
pick
means
this? Will it
go
dump me
out
back
of
to
the
the
game.
menu? Oh, okay. Okay, this
Let's
is...
proceed to the front.
Okay.
Proceed to the front. At least it has a decent heading on it.
Hey there, white dingoes. We're at the drop point now. All set?
Yeah, they do some fun things with the intros to every mission. I appreciate it. They went out of their way for a lot of this. It's...
Good luck, guys.
Whee!
My pilot is very excited.
You'll tend to find that people who do like the Universal
I like how they gave our
Century
truck a
and all
backpack with
like
jets
the
on
big
it.
Gundam and stuff.
They gave it a plane backpack when it was already in a plane.
Just more backpacks
Yeah.
for everybody. It's just like, yeah, but people tend to like the grunty stuff. They like the technical grunty gear. So at least very much they knew the people who weren't going to accidentally buy this thinking they were going to get to be a Bishonen with a giant beam rifle. They would have wanted what this game is showing.
And of course, they have to reference Operation British again.
I'm going to be the first to say it, that our support truck
It is. It really
Oh,
is.
yeah.
And the best thing is, if you buy... They made some White Dingoes models that you have to buy special, but they come with that truck, or with the Fetty tank, and it's just adorable.
This land here is charged with the power of hatred for the Xeon.
I want to scruff its ears.
Power from the dead, is that what you're talking about? You mean the Xeon woke up a sleeping lion?
Yeah,
don't you?
ghosts are going to drive the
Weird
Xeon
dingoes,
off.
not
That's a
lions.
great
Dingoes are
idea,
dogs.
Leon.
Don't you remember? Lieutenant, let's get started.
This is
immediately.
fucking monologuing. Dingoes aren't lions.
Show those Zeeks just how much power I got.
None. Mike, you have no power. I think you end the game with a kill.
Don't let it get in the way of teamwork. Thing one.
Okay,
I'll be
something
waiting for your
is bugging
instructions.
the hell out of me. You guys take over
Okay.
one quick second. I'm going to look something up.
He's looking up whether or not a dingo is actually.
So, once you're in mission, you can give commands, and this is me trying to remember how to do that, so bear with me. I'm a little rusty. There's a map you can look at. There's the
There we go.
commands. We need to tell Oasis to do her special search, but you can tell her to move somewhere. Her special search is her ground radar. Without it, you don't actually have a radar. You can't see the enemy on your little radar map. Not that it's particularly helpful, but... Yeah.
Well, yeah. And for those wondering why that is, essentially the ground radar is listening to tremors in the ground, if I'm going to assume
Yeah.
that's what it is. Because in the Gundam setting, in the Universal Century setting at the very least, the fusion reactors of Craft, of the mobile suits themselves, generate this particle called the Minovsky particle, And that actually fucks up conventional radar really badly, and also conventional communication too. And so that's why they have to use ground tremors to try and locate where the enemy is coming from and things like that.
So I'm kind of hovering my.
This is one of those rare Let's Plays where I could actually be super informative, and rather than just sit here and make shit puns.
I was hovering my crosshair over Ayers Rock for a moment at the end. So that if you were wondering what I was doing there, I was just trying to point out where that supposedly is.
We're gonna get on top of it and absolutely utterly like upset some local indigenous population.
Bang 2, roger.
Okay, so I'm not 100% clear on this, and this game is poorly documented enough that I can't easily look this up. But is Fang 3 Stephen J. Bloom?
I didn't look, but I did record the credits, so I can find out.
Let's Play.
Yeah, it sounds suspiciously like Jamie from Vegas XLR, which
That's
I
the
was just
reference I
thinking
didn't
about
put
earlier
together.
today. Well, I mean, they happen to sound really similar, and Jamie from Vegas XLR is like the only time that Stephen J. Bloom has gotten the opportunity to do a voice that wasn't Spike ever since he's
there's
done
also
Spike.
like Transformers Prime Starscream.
Oh,
That's
look.
it. It's literally it.
That's true. So yeah, that actually is pretty much the sum
love
total of
Head
it.
Vulcans!
So cute.
Oh my god! 5 minutes in and we're already back to square dancing to do our back
He
combat.
hit me with a grenade directly.
Butter, 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 butter.
There's a.
Yeah, I
There's a
spend as
Zuck.
much of the mission where I decided to show off the machine gun, not using the machine gun as I can. Because it's...
I mean, it was pretty obvious why the first time I saw you shoot the dude with it. It's because we would have been here all day just watching you shoot the dude in the face.
Hi.
I want to say I really like the melee system, like for what it is. Like obviously it's not too sophisticated, but I love that little lot with the beam saber versus the heat bomb.
Yeah, the first person melee here is
One of the
actually
reasons why
pretty
I
cool
really like
looking.
this. Oh shit.
Well, he came out of
Like
nowhere.
they went all out with the melee, and it's nice. The enemy blocks, you can block them. Blocking tends to get you a chance to attack. If you both attack at the same time, you'll lock weapons, and then it'll usually end with a neutrality. You sort of have to mash the attack button to win that exchange, and it's hard to do. And the enemy will occasionally jump
that's
over
cool.
you like an asshole.
That was really cool. He totally was just like, all right, I'm
Oh,
gonna
and
Mario
they will try
your
to
ass.
run after a certain point, and if you chase them, they're like, oh, nope, you won't let me get away. Okay, right back to melee.
The GM shouldn't have to.
Everybody's really excited about
You
you.
can shoot the fighters down, but you need to be using the beam spray gun to do it. The beam rifle too, but you can
Is there
shoot them
any
down
point to
before the
doing
friendly
so?
fighters show up, and you can end the mission a little early if you do it. Because
But like these controls.
yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
if you lock onto it and you've got the beam spray gun,
Honestly-
you can tag them pretty easily. But it's the only weapon you can do that with.
Yeah, and honestly, kind of reminds me, like the basic movement and everything reminds me of Earth Siege, which is like that was. Hey guys, this is totally not Mech Warrior. Mech Warrior from Sierra in the late '80s to early '90s, and it had the same sort of just like kind of meaty, clunky movement, and it had the same frickin' fighters that were always flitting around your head like irritating
Oh, and Magellas
flies
pop
that
their
could never
tops.
actually do
Sorry.
anything. And if you
Magellas are a combination of ground tank and aircraft
makes sense.
and detach.
nice.
The Xion's tanks and aircraft aren't that great. They didn't have much superiority in that regard. But mobile suits are where like the scale tipped very hard in the favor of Xion. Until the Gundam data got into the hands of the Federation, and they plugged into the battle computers for GMs. At which point it was like, well, get fucked.
Well, all of a sudden,
Yeah,
this is a
well,
lot
you know, they
easier.
had all the movement and combat data of Amuro Ray, you know, probably one of the single best, like, you know, pilots and all the battle data he got fighting, you know, a variety of aces like Jar Aznable, the Tri-Stars, fucking Bomberal, the list goes on. You know, like, he gave them a lot of data, a lot of really good data, and as a result, the GM is a very good performance machine and outclassed a lot. Not all of, but outclassed a lot of the Xion suits.
We do have more hit points than the Zaku
It's
to
worth
help,
noting.
show that off, and we have much more jump as the GM than anything else in the game.
It's worth noting for those of you who aren't familiar with what battle data tends to mean in terms of like anime mecha stuff. Typically, and this actually is a fiat among multiple mecha animes, so it's not just Gundam. You can have your awesome standing tank all you want, but to make it move fluidly is a really difficult problem. So typically, what most pilots end up doing is they use pre-programmed movements and data from the test pilots of things that should work. And only like the most elite pilots ever get comfortable enough with their machines to take over manual controls and program their own movements. So when you have an amazing ace fighting an amazing ace, and all of the absolutely awesome things that they did during that fight, and you can just sort of press a button and your machine will pull off this incredibly intricate maneuver. That's actually an incredibly big
I got
freaking
lost.
deal.
That's why that took so long. The map is hard to read.
That's okay.
This is Oasis. A completed mission sonar sweep of the
Yeah,
area.
well, you know, Alice
Continuing the search.
Springs in general is, and I'm, you know, it's not a hugely detailed
And it's
place.
foggy
in
all the
general.
time.
I mean, it's. Oh yeah, absolutely no, but
Lieutenant, the enemy's been completely
That's not
destroyed.
Uluru.
Looks like we won.
This mission
Wow,
turned out
she
to be
is
a piece of
incredibly
cake for
excited.
Shut
guys
up,
as good
Mike.
as us.
Too few of them for a properly deployed defense line. Something's fishy.
What do you mean, Leon? This was all some big feint on the enemy's part? I think you're overthinking things.
Yay, Fetty tanks. The Fetty tanks are cute.
Fetty tanks.
They're cute.
I like Fetty tanks more than you know, tanks. Although the tank, which is kind of like a weird amalgam of a Zaku and a tank, is pretty cool. Like for all the wrong reasons.